Hey guys, how you doing? Alright. Let's see here. I'm going to do the French classic with Simon Williams. D4, E6, D4, D5, knight C3, knight E. That was the blunder that sealed the fate of the game right there. You have to always be looking for those blunders. Like when he takes there, he takes there. He plays there. You play your rook over. Now you can pin and win. We're gonna look at Yazur as black. It's the French defense. The Rubinstein variation. It's got tons of development. Have you noticed that? His developmental is so nice. Oops, there we go. King's in. He provoked a actual weakness. So this pawn's gonna fall here, but he wins that one. So now he's got a pawn attack here, there, and there. It can, oops, that wasn't the move. So it takes. And really there's no way to, well, there's no way to save the, well, I guess there is. But then that falls and you're up a whole piece at that point. Yeah. We'll do one game and then we'll get into our London studies. Come on, baby. Well, that went fast. Some of those games are really quick. We get to use our French. Now I could potentially reroute my knight, so that'll be nice. Of course I need to play that first though, kinda to stop the knight from coming in, or the bishop. Probably could have taken that. Yeah, so I'll just take it. If they hang a pawn, they give them the pawn, right? I'm potentially going to play queen there, bring my rook over. Thinking about either playing there or there. I want to kind of reroute my knight, and I also want to play a bishop here, so see if I can't bring my queen up here and then attack there. Oh, interesting. I have to take, otherwise I get back mated. Can't win the queen right now. I have to. Probably. Yeah, I'm good. We'll go to analysis on that. Okay. That was close. I was constantly under the heat. This is actually a really good game. I was just like constantly under the heat. But sometimes you see the pin. Probably I could take with the bishop at that point. Drat. That's okay. So you could actually take with the bishop at that point, and you then can play rook takes, and you're just then disintegrating his army. Okay. Oh, I should have taken with the knight. Okay. So I kind of did a slight inaccuracy. So takes with the knight there. The queen comes here. The queen comes in. Yeah, I'm gonna piece. You win a piece at this point. Well, potentially you win. Well, I guess you do, don't you? Yeah. So you would be up a whole piece. Hey. So you take, you go there, goes there, you take. Oh, that's right, I missed mate and one. Okay. A mate and one. So mate and one, I gotta remember to keep an eye out for that. He actually ran out of time. I had like 2 minutes, so. Okay, so, okay. Let's get into our London studies now, guys. Alrighty. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Okay, now we're learning what happens when, I'll show you. We're playing, Black's got to try the Tarrasch move against the London system, so we're going to see how to handle that. D5, Bishop F, F5. There's also, let's see here. There's that line, and I'll show you. There's another line that we're going to be going down to. So let's see about this line. So here, C5, and then E4, which is interesting. An interesting line. Come on. Because it's more about, you know, the counter thrust. It's called the Morris Gambit. Morris Gambit. He says he usually plays it when his opponent, he doesn't usually play. Sometimes he plays E3. Sometimes if he wants to gambit a pawn or two, or just a pawn, he'll do that type of gambit, and it'll get his pieces going. This attacks and allows for development. So it's kind of, if you like gambits, that's this is kind of what we're going to be going over. Is this is kind of like a somewhat of a gambit. And let's see, what did okay, black played D takes E4. There's also a line if this is a mistake here if he takes, because then you could play bishop takes D, and if F6, then you can play, surprisingly, let me see here, I think, yeah, and then black is seriously behind a development, because you can actually at that point take, and then when he takes, you could take back. You're attacking this knight. The bishops are going to start flowing out. You're actually better. You're up a whole pawn. That's if he plays. See, now we're getting to, let's see here, 4. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. Knight, instead of knight C, let me see here. Hold on, guys. He has a couple variations that I have to make sure I do, and it's a part of a variation that goes into another variation. So just give me a second. This is actually a mistake, inaccurate move, so I have to put the symbol there so that you guys don't think it's a good move. Let me see here. Okay. All right, that's right. Instead of this, instead of, let me see here. Nope, that's wrong. Sorry, I did the wrong move. That this was actually the move. I knew there was something wrong with that, and the king. This is like total developmental destruction. Something similar to that would be played. He actually stopped here because there's just so much you can do with this attack. Hey. So he says rather than f6, you can also, let me see, play d takes e4. Actually, wait a second. Here. How does he play? Oh, d takes d. Okay, right here. And then queen takes with an exclam. This is the second line, which is actually a really good move. The king is forced to take. Knight f3, which now you're attacking this pawn. This is like the Morton gambit. Hey, Fox. F5 would be played here. Castle, queenside check. Knight d7. Ge2, and now you're trying to either implant it to one of those two squares. This is a subline of the subline, so G3, kind of to attack the bishop. Attack the bishop and the pawn. G6, B5 to attack the knight. C8, G takes, E4. This gets an exclam because it's threatening. It's threatening to regain the pawn with a strong advantage. There's also, let me see here, back here, 5-5-5. Okay, instead of let me see, what am I missing? Okay, here, that's 4. Then 5 is what could be played instead of bishop takes. This is weird. If queen takes here, oh wait a second, hold on. It's saying B takes A, and if queen takes, I don't know if that's right. I don't think that's right. I have to make sure that I have this right. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. To regain the pawn, let's see. Okay, so if E takes, I takes. Okay, let's go back to the main line here. Knight there. Alright. And then at this point, right. This is what they're saying right here. This is the, got it. This is the exclam. I knew I missed something. This is the exclam. Sorry about that. I had it itch a little bit. There we go. And rook takes. There we go. Now we're in the ballpark. D7. And then E5 to attack the knight. E4. F3 exclam. We're now depriving the knight of all of its natural squares. G5 that it wants to go to, and then boom, now we're putting some questions. If it pushed, we can actually take back potentially, but I don't know if that's safe. I think we actually lose the queen if we do that. No, the king's on a dark square, so I think we'd still be able to take if that was played. We're also saying on move 3 that E6 is a potential idea. E6 is a potential one, but it's very dubious. Because it doesn't, it really doesn't cover anything. It's not like huge. They're saying that the best move actually is knight to f6 for black. It's the best line. It's the only way to kind of decline the situation and counter the gambit. That's kind of what they're saying. So C D, E takes D. This is the game that plays out. D5, because you don't want to take, because you'll lose castling rights, and that wouldn't be fun. Knight F3, F6, sorry. There's also a, he's saying that rather than the knight move, there's queen to b6, which is an interesting idea. And he's saying that knight c3, and potentially we're seeing if we can't infiltrate in. There's queen takes d2, b5 is actually check, d7, rook d2, I mean bishop d2, knight f6. That's really interesting that that wasn't played. That puzzles me kinda. I think I know why, because if the bishop took here rather than that, if the bishop actually took, I think the queen potentially gets herself trapped. Let me see, I think, because if it goes there, you take there, and the queen is trapped. It could go here, but then you lose a rook. So that's why the bishop can't take. So this would be a, I'm going to give that a double question mark. So, because I even put that line in there. He'll probably have that line. Okay, bishop takes d, and then it says that king takes d. Hold on, did I? Wait a second. Snaps. I have to make sure that, okay, bishop takes, hold on. Knight takes f6. Okay, rook, that's right. Rook slides over. Okay, queen e3, that's it. Bishop takes, and then king takes, and then rook takes check. 1 second. Okay, let's see here. Hold on. I'll be back. I'll put the puzzles on for you. Then we'll pick up right here. Sorry to break this up, but I'll be right back. So let me see here. Let's see where. Uh-oh. Let's see. Oh, gotcha. We gotta do this puzzle first. Okay, so queen takes f5. Hold on, I gotta put the thing back in here. We'll finish this puzzle, and then we'll get back to our studies. Okay, bishop. Okay, queen takes f6. Queen takes e3, e2 check. No, we can't do that. So he's in check already. That's right. One sec. I'll be right back. I gotta get some. Gotta grab a water. Here's my water. Got my water. Alright, let's do this. Let's work on this thing. Okay, queen. Let's see. Queen checks here. So queen checks. Queen f6. Queen f6. Then bishop takes f6. I mean g6. King g7. It's queen queen takes. King might take back there. Yeah, that's right. This looks like I like that. I believe that's right. So far, so good. Okay. Let's see here. If we take. So if we play bishop, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. That's right. Yeah, because if he goes here, right, you play there. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, then we're up a whole piece. Yep, that's right. Right on there. Right on. That makes, yeah, that's why it works. Okay. Where did we leave off? Okay, rook takes f7. Hold on. Okay, right here. Yeah, it says that it says that black's extra pawn doesn't really do much in this situation here. This all it does is better. Oh, this gets an exclam mark. Sorry about that. I have to put that in there. This position right here says that yes, black has an extra pawn, but to what avail? Nothing. His position's totally wrecked, and he's got nothing to show for it. So that's kind of the idea. So that's why rather than the queen, he just played knight f8. Or knight f6, sorry, not knight f8. That's funny. That'd be funny if it was knight f8 though, because that wouldn't happen. Then f6. Okay, what do we have here? Knight c3 to attack the pawn, protect this pawn, so it's protected, attacked twice, protected twice. a6. There is a potential idea though if he plays there, yeah, that this actually is a mistake. e6 is a mistake or an inaccurate move, either one. The computer calls it both, because d5 is check, which actually is beneficial. He comes there. D takes. D takes e, and if bishop takes, then this is actually what actually happened, was takes back. But I think if I'm not mistaken, that loses to the in-between move there, and he can't take because then he would lose the queen. So he has to move his king up, and then what you do is you still trade off the queens, and then you just take the bishop. The bishop, and you have accomplished a ginormous amount of attack. So that's why e6 in this line, he plays a6 instead of e6, because that's a really bad mistake. Really bad. So a6 has to be played. Then let me see here. White plays a really stellar move, which is queen e2, because he's saying to black, fine, take the pawn. Take the pawn. If you take the pawn with the knight, I'll be more than happy to castle queenside, pinning your knight to your queen, and then queen takes, and the party's gonna get started. Yeah, so f5 was played here to hold on to this pawn. There's also a slight mistake here that they talked about. Like it actually shows the move here. If he does take castles, we'll do the line, because so you guys will see how this in e6 to fortify the knight, and then queen takes e4, and white regained his pawn back with interest, and his material is his pieces are starting to flood out like a river, and black is still stuck with a pin, and even potentially knight, and that would win the queen. So you have to, black is still not out of the woods. Even if he plays something like this, you can retreat. Black plays like that, knight goes there, and he has to do that so that he can guard this square here from losing the knight to a small pawn. But in the end, endgame pawns do become heroes, so we can't call them small. Okay, so e, bishop, f5, castle queenside. Oops, I gotta make sure that that's not like that. Come on, there we go. Castle queen side. Bishop bd7, so that you, I mean not bishop, knight bd7 to develop, and then h6, which gets an exclam mark because you're thinking to yourself, what in the world? All the idea is going on in the center. Why would you play h6? Because white knows that the center is potentially locked down. I mean, black knows the center, and white knows the center is locked down. And so white's like, if I can't attack on this and in the center, I can always attack in the wings. And so the best spot at this moment to attack, where there's a lot of pieces that could be used for tempos, would be the queen side, because then he has the ability for a g4 attack the bishop and basically get these pawns rolling down the board. So that kind of h6, h3 really puts the question to black to say, yes, I'm playing in the center, but I'm also playing on the side. What wing are you going to fight on? Are you going to worry about the center, or are you going to worry about the king side? And we know that black's not going to castle queen side because of how wrecked his pawn structure is. So this h3 is a prophylactic idea that when black castles, we can start flinging our pawns down the board. So this kind of tells black, I'm here, I know what you're potentially going to do. So it's a Hannibal Smith idea, knowing what your opponent's going to do before he does it. That's what h3 is. That's why it is a good move. You're telling them, I know what you're going to do before you even do it. They're saying potentially that this is an okay move, but it's not the best move, because then b5's not g5. My bad there. b5 is played, and that gets a exclam for black, because black's now saying, you know what? Yes, you have development on the queen side, but look, your castle, my king isn't. Yes, my king's kind of awkward right now, but I have pawns rolling down the board. I have a potential to open this up and cause some big time damage to you. So don't think because you have a lot of development on the king side that you're safe. That's what black's saying to white. And you know what? That's why h3 kind of says, if you want to play like that, I could play like that too. It's saying, you know what? I can counter your counter, but I can do it better and faster. That's kind of what the board is telling each side. That the board actually does talk. Like in Knights of South Bronx, there was a little kid. I forgot his. Oh no, Dylan. His name was Dylan. I believe it's Dylan. And he said that his ninjas would tell him where to play. He was the ninja master. He liked ninjas, so he was the ninja masters, and his ninjas, like all of his pieces, would tell him where to move, and they would he would actually see them come to life on the board. That's imagination. That's one thing that we have to build, is the imagination to see what our opponent's going to do before he does it, and then be able to predict it. And the board will tell you, Jeremy Silman even says it, it'll tell you where to play by where your pawns are pointing, by where your pieces are, and by the structure of the pawns. Like, of course, potentially black may castle queenside, but it's about probably 80-20% chance that he'll actually do that. So I don't really think that, unless a black's in a very critical mess, will he castle queenside. It's probably more likely going to castle kingside, so h3 gets ready for that. And that's what white imagines. Maybe 10 to 20 moves down the road, the black king being here, and the black king being here and the rook being there, and he says, if I have h3 now, that allows me time to get my army started, and if he castles, I'm ready. So that's what he's imagining. White is what potentially is going to happen. Okay, h3. Okay, a5. They're saying that there's h5 is idea, but it's actually a mistake / inaccurate move. This is an exclam move, because now if he takes, let's see, does he have anything else? No. Let's see. Yeah, it basically is, it's saying that with f6, this makes castling for black very, very scary. It's not something you want to do now, because this pawn is loose. His pawn chain isn't solid like it used to be. So that's kind of, and if he takes here, the knight of course is going to take back, and now we have 4 pieces developed, and our opponent only has, in theory, I'll call it 2.5, because this knight really isn't. It's developed, but not muchly developed. So, but this actually didn't happen. This was a potential idea if he didn't play queen to a5. If he played a5, it would have been a mistake. And yeah, you have to be ready sometimes. Sorry, I gotta go back here. With this move here, you have to also be ready to sacrifice material. Sometimes you'll even, once you get your rook and everything defended, you might even go g4 just to rip open the king side. So I just wanted to tell you that's what he's saying. And sometimes h4 is an idea, a knight h4 after f3, and if he exchanges, you can barricade the h pawn with knight to h4, and it's really strong too. So g4 is played to attack the bishop, g6, and now we have another piece that's flowing out into the fight. And let's see, what do we got here? We have g6, g2, oh, so he does castle. Wow, that is very scary to actually do. I wouldn't have thought that he would do that. Look, he's just castling right into this. Look at that. Boom. He's got this and potentially this happening. That is really scary. Ouch. I don't know if I would have done that. You got to have a lot of courage to do that. This gets an exclam move, because now we're saying it's time to rip the center open. Now we can get a knight. Let's get our pieces developed. He castled. His structure is weak here. Ugh. It's not looking too good for black. So he's trying his heart out to get pieces to defend the king. He's trying to potentially make even a flight square. Maybe start getting these pieces over to the queen side to kind of maybe seal up all of his scratches and bruises. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do that in time before he basically gets captured. So they're talking about that this is a potential idea. E takes f, knight takes f, so that just develops a piece. h6 and knight d2, and now we're this gets an exclam mark here, because if you notice, the next idea is knight to b2 or b3 with attack on the pawn, and the pieces are just flowing. This is open now, so we can just push and be attacking. Everything's flowing over for white. That's why he really can't take, because that just frees up this bishop, and the light square bishop is thanking black's e-pawn for freeing basically the snipers. I always think of them as snipers. The bishop is a sniper and it's thanking if this was a building, it's thanking the building for not being there so that it can have a precision shot on the king. So b6, so f takes, e4. This regains the pawn with a clear advantage for white, because no longer can he take because there's 3 defenders. Knight a4 and rook d3 with an exclam move, because if the knight takes, the rook will take back and it can come over and now participate here. If it takes there, now it's attacking that, and you can retreat your bishop back and then attack that. It's like, ooh, it's like heaven sent. If black ever does take, it'll be like, thank you so much. And so he doesn't take, he pushes onward. Like what they're saying is a potential idea is knight takes. No, see, hold on. C takes. No, this is the takes. 1 second. Delete. Hold on. What am I missing here? 54 knight. Oh no. What in the world? Oh, gotcha. I gotcha. There you go. Then we take there. And then this actually is a double question mark. It's a blunder. Rook goes to a3 and the queen is basically trapped. The queen's trapped now. So this move loses the queen. A2, queen takes, loses. So this line loses the queen. That's why e6 is played. Knight takes a4, queen takes a4, and rook a3. Queen b4. If black tries to retreat to d7, it's saying that d6 is actually an exclam move. It's very annoying. It causes a lot of problems for black, because if bishop takes here, this actually is a losing move. Surprisingly, it looks like it's winning. It's actually another double question mark, because you then have, let me see here. So Chris takes, bishop, okay, bishop takes, and then queen takes, and then you have e5 winning a piece. So taking actually set up for a this fork here. So when he plays back, you push there, bishop takes, takes, and then e5, and that wins a piece. So that's why queen b4 was played, rather than, of course, all the way back to queen to d7. Bishop d2 to attack the queen. So now we're trying to see if we can't flood the pieces in this way, because the bishop really didn't have any scope over here, and there's really no point. And potentially the bishop could come out and say, why don't you trade my bishop off, and we'll kind of maybe head into a draw. And he's like, no sir, I do not want to do that. So now the queens are trying to come off the board, and boom, c4. That gets an exclam, because white saying, ain't gonna do it. No. I need my queen on the board. You leave my queen alone. I'm gonna counter, fortify the center. If you want to take, now I can take that way, and now my queen's free to roam the board. And this causes, it starts depriving black of spaces, and white's trying to get black to basically play d7 and then start that whole chain of attack again to fork the knight and queen. So that's kind of why he's doing that. So rather than that, the queen goes, no way, I'm not falling for that trick. I already saw what would happen if I did that, and so they're like, I'm willing to go all the way back rather than lose a piece, which does lose a tempo. Boom. Now the knight's under fire, and it's like, boom, there we go. The knight has to move, and then wham, right in there. d6. Now this bishop is very ugly. Now this bishop is very happy now. With a rook sliding over, I smell mate soon to come. It's going to be a sad state, and you can even have bishop to f3 and say, you know what you going to do? There's nothing you can do. You can't stop mate. So b8, because they knight b8, because if he plays here, he's going to try to jam a knight in there to clog up, like like in a drain, when the drain gets clogged, the knight's trying to be a clog in our flow of piece movement. So a5 is played. Now we're attacking the rook. And we're like, we're not gonna let you do that. You know what? It's not. They're saying though that best is actually for white. This is an okay move, but best is actually that. And there's a line that goes with it. I do agree with it, because this does take advantage of the knight was right here, and what did it give up? It gave up the protection of the c4 pawn, or c5 pawn, sorry. And so why not take advantage of that? Because there's nothing that can attack the base pawn on e5, so you know, you just have to figure that out. That it's okay. Let's see here. Let's see, where am I? So 20. Move 20. Okay, gotcha. E4, knight c6. c6. Queen takes. c5 looks even stronger than the move that this team is stronger than that, because when he moves there, we take with a pin, and it's pinned. Okay, so let's see what he plays after we go bishop a, so knight c5, knight c6 to attack. Bishop takes, winning a pawn, winning a rook, and knight d4 to attack the queens. The knight is doing its hardest to stop the queen from going to these two squares, because it covers that and the bishop covers that, and this bishop still is going to be lost because of the tempo on the queen. So it's not like it's not going to fall. It will. Queen slides over and takes the bishop finally. Knight f3, trying to get rid of this, and maybe potentially winning a pawn. Maybe he might even win a, if he plays there. I'm not sure. Let me see here. They're saying, I apologize, we have to go back to move 20. There's actually an error that I forgot to put this in here. If he goes d7, I'm sorry, I got to go back and do this. This is actually a problem if you're ever wondering. Now this actually wins on the spot, because there's, yeah, it's not good. So we'll go back to where we are now. Knight f3, so that if he takes, he threatens mate. He also threatens to exchange a rook, sacrifice a rook for a pawn. So there's a lot of attack happening right at this moment. Let's see here. Okay, bishop takes, knight of 3, b6. Trying to get the pieces flowing out. And then knight takes d. This gets an exclam mark, because what's happening is we're saying, come on, bring it. Because if rook d1 is an idea, but it complications arise if you play rook d1, knight c2 with a fork potential, queen b3, knight b4, and everything is pretty much kind of sealed up. There's really, I don't really see any compensation for white here. Maybe for white or black, this is equal. That's why he just took and said, you know what? We're just gonna take. We're not gonna play any of that. Just, you know what? Just take it and move on. Queen b3. And if queen takes, of course you see that rook's gonna take back, and that's under fire. And then that is potentially going to, this, he can't push because of takes, and then rook takes, all that. So queen b3, queen a7 to hold on to this pawn, and potentially he can't even play that. This is very sad. And he's in full defense now. b4 with a potential play like that up the board. Black's game is ruined, and he is down in exchange. And the rook will eventually be black's demise once we get this rook involved. It'll be the demise of black. f6 is trying to do something. a5, threatening mate. So I think mate's a little better there. b6. Queen b8 is actually a blunder, because it's actually met with a very strong boom, rook to b3, and it's a exclam mark. This is a really strong move. It can't really be met because you can't play there, because you have a bishop and a rook and a queen, and it's all over basically but the crying. So queen takes, check, queen takes, rook takes, f takes e, rook takes b, and now we have 4 pass pawns, and it's like, whoa, this is just too much. I'm loving it. e4, rook d1. It's like, okay, tell me what you've acquired now. e5 to keep this chain intact. c5, and who's faster now? Basically, who's coming up the board faster? Potentially we have a rook and then up, and we're good to go. h5, and it's like he's trying everything. He's like, just please take it. What is there after queen a7? Hold on. Queen a7. Is it rook a4 followed up by hold that thought. We'll look at that after, because the game's almost over, and this is the we'll look at that line, Foss. Just one sec, because we gotta see what I gotta see what happens. I love these type of games when they get you in a bind and then they slowly squeeze and eventually they crush you under the pressure. You gotta love that. g5. It's like, you think I'm gonna allow you to open up my position? No. I have 4 pass pawns. You potentially have 3, but not really. I have four connected passers. You have this weird pawn chain thing. And I have enough pieces defending to stop it. So you gotta love it. Okay, G5. So King D7 to kind of see if he can't basically get out of dodge, as they would say. Rook E1, Rook E3, and Bishop D5, and it's like, you ain't going anywhere, friend. It's like saying, you really think you're gonna run? Not when my my bishop, my sniper, saying you better stay where you are. Okay, let's take a look at that. And he did resign. Hold on. Let's see here. It's let's do our summary wrap up, and then we'll go over that line. Okay. They're talking about potentially E4 is very psychological move. This right here. It's the Albin counter gambit, and it may shake people up a little bit when they think, oh, he's going to just do the London system, and all of a sudden you throw in like a Albin counter gambit, and they're like, what? It's like they're thinking, oh, it's a boring London opening. But this really put the shell shock to them, and they're like, oh, it isn't that boring. And so that's that line. So now we'll go back and take a look at what you were talking about, Fox. Queen to A7. Queen A7. There we go. And you were saying that potentially rook to, let me see, rook to A4. And then rook to B. There's a check. I think we're still winning, but I don't know by how much. I think we're still winning though. Now we're threatening to actually mate, so he's got to move there. And we push. And then we could actually check at this point. And then if he takes, we either turn to a queen, and if he takes there, we check. And then we just grab that pawn. And yeah, we are winning. That does work. Yeah. No, it's still good. It works. So you're still 9 pawns up, 9.8 pawns. So you're still fine. Okay, let's. Now that we have, I'll keep this line for you so that you guys can look at it. It's not a bad line. It's still good. It's if you wanted to kind of play more aggressive. This is a good line. You're still winning. You're still crushing because of how strong your chain is. Okay, let's look at that game. Okay, there it is. Alright. Let's take a looky. Stockfish versus Johnny. Oh, Johnny Computer, okay. Johnny on the... Oh, that is funny. That's funny. Johnny on the spot. That's funny. Okay, we already did this, so... Well, and port this. Okay, let's see here. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Hold on. Okay. Okay, let's see if we go D4, D5. Let's see, 4, D takes C4, E3, Bishop E6. Oh. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So if we do that, boy, it's kind of interesting that Johnny would do that, because you really can't save that pawn when this exchange happens here. This really isn't savable. So takes, king takes. Interesting. So, infiltration. So they're trying to win a pawn here and potentially get a knight to c4 is an interesting idea. Just surrendered the pawn right off the bat. Interesting. I didn't think he was going to do that. Thought he potentially might play queen here and then slide over, maybe to hold it. Maybe something like that to put some pressure on it. But I guess he has to do that to guard the knight. Yeah. You gotta be careful with Jeremy Silman says it's okay to have greed, but you have to make sure that your greed isn't your demise. Takes. Yeah, because he wouldn't want to take here because, of course, you see it's mate, so he can't take back. And it's interesting that white's down a whole rook, but his pawns are like really super duper powerful. And so I don't really, it's kind of scary if I was black. I have a lot of material, but oh man, I don't know. Check. Now we're gonna queen and get everything back, and we have extra. Oh man. Can't risk exchanging anything off. Blacks cannot risk exchanging anything. Oh no, it's all over now. There's no way to stop this massive onslaught. Yeah, wow. That was greedy. I gotta say that was really greedy. That was a great game. Hold on, let me. If we were to do another one, I'll have one ready. All right. We'll do some puzzles. Sorry about that. I'll leave this with you guys real quick. I'll be right back. So G4. On knight to A5. Let's see if we take. He takes. True. Right. Great. I'm trying to see if I can't find it too. I think it might. I'm trying to see if it's. I'm trying to see if it might be bishop to E4. But I'm not. I think that would be met with H5 though. So bishop takes B6, queen takes D. Let's hold on. Oops. So takes. Bishop takes. It might just be a plain G4 though. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because these two pieces would be forked at that point. Thinking it potentially might be. I don't think it. I don't think this does, because what happens is he takes and then he's forking. He's forking these two pieces. Right. That's exactly it. Yeah, that is kind of a problem. We gotta do something about this fork here. Excuse me. Wow. Well, I don't really see, excuse me, anything better than to actually do that. We're going to have to trade off material. One second. Excuse me. We're going to, I think I have to trade off material. I'm trying to see if there's any way to counter that, though. I think that's the only way to actually do it, is to play this here. It's the only way to hold everything together, and then we have to play up. So we play here. He plays there. We play there. If he comes over, if he comes over here, we just grab a pawn, and really there's no way to get at this pawn anymore. Oh, we could just defend with the knight? Oh, I missed that. We could defend with the king. Oh, I can't believe I missed that. I can't believe I actually missed that. I think we have to, if I'm not mistaken, play this here. Rook g7. And then if queen takes, then we go queen there. But oh, and then he gets mate though. That's real lovely. There's our mate. Snap. Well, maybe we just take the rook. Now that we think about it, you take the rook. Oh, sorry. Take the rook. If that takes, which is a bad move, so he's not gonna do that. So we take the rook. He takes bishop, rook to g7. If queen here, if queen there, we play queen here, and we win. Hold on, let me take a look to see kind of what, excuse me, the idea is. Because here, I mean, if here, if there, I play rook. And I don't really see any way of stopping mate here. Well, maybe, nope. The pawn's here, the pawn's there, so the bishop can't actually get back to stop it, so. Yeah. Oh wow, okay. Then we jam a piece in there. We go bishop h6. If rook checks, yeah. What did I miss? Why doesn't, I don't get why that doesn't work though. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Duh, I should have seen that. Okay, it stops that. Now that is okay, so you can't do that. He's forced to play there. Then you take there. Still hard to win, yeah. Yeah. Snap. Saw everything but to that point there. We're getting better. We are getting better because we did see that. Okay, dokie. Let's see here. What do we got? I'll do two more. We'll do this one, and then we'll do another one, and then I gotta log off. Okay. The rook's hanging. But the pawn's also hanging, which means the bishop would be hanging, because if we take this, he takes that, we have to go up, he snaps that off. So that does not work to my optimum idea. Maybe we could play a knight. I'm thinking maybe knight. I like this knight move because it clogs that up. It puts the question to the queen. You're gonna have to go back. Then when we take here, even if he comes back, it takes. We can just at that point move our bishop back. Move our bishop back, and we protect the knight. So here, if he goes back, which I doubt he will, so there. We'll say that he goes right there. We take, let's say he comes down, it takes. Then we come back here and we're safe. Yeah. Well, if he does that, then we grab the bishop. So if the queen goes there, you could say goodbye and we win. Then we'd win and be like, yes. And then our opponent would resign and we would get our points. Hurrah! Yeah. That's okay. Let's go for it. Because then if he comes back, boom. Oh, you can actually. What does this? Is this a bad move? Oh, you take there. Gotcha. So you just develop the knight. Okay, you're attacking that. Okay. Yeah, this is more of a forcing move. Gotcha. I feel ya. I feel ya. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's fine. You're okay. Alright. Okay, let's see what do we got here. Boy, this is kind of different, to say the least. Huh. Wow. Huh. Let's see here. Actually, if we move here, he's going to play there and stop this pawn. But he could stop, he could actually stop our pawn on a6. So oh, true. Yeah, that is true. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions? Well, let's take a look at this line. If he was to play here, we'll take a look. You're exactly right. This is the only, that is the yeah, the KO, the knockout, the 1-2. It's even worse now because he has a rook and a knight. So I think you're right with the rook. I think it is perpetual. No, it's actually better for black in this line. Yeah, he wins. Yeah. And now there's no hope ever of queening this pawn. So my first idea was actually the knight move, like what you were thinking, but I thought that he could stop it if he went there. That's actually what I thought. But then when you said about this, I was like, that does handle everything, and there's no way to, yeah. That would have been sad. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, G, Queen, H8. He comes up. He checks. We have to move up here. He takes with check. He checks there. We have to come back. And then he grabs the pawn, and it's game over at that point. There's no way of stopping, so the only move, not a problem. Sorry, 1 second. Isn't that crazy? And that wins. He takes, and we queen, and it's basically all over. Do you have any more questions about this? Okay, perfect then. Then I will say do. Okay, hey guys, you know what? Remember, keep studying. You constantly are learning. That's the whole thing. Learning is part of life, and we're learning our London system. You're not going to be perfect every time, but when we find out why the idea didn't work, and then we can fix it and then apply it in our own games. And that allows us to use the mind the Lord's given us. Sometimes, you know what, you have to go past what you want to do and actually do the move. You know, I mean, you have to sometimes say, what does the position want us to do? If it's just to win a pawn, we have to win that pawn. The board will tell us what to do if we are observant and, like Jeremy Silman said, readily available to listen. We can see where the flow of the game, the board is going. So just remember that, you know, there's days that are coals, days that are diamonds. You know what? Treasure and enjoy everyone, even though sometimes they're not fun. Trust me, when you get to the top and you look back and you'll say, man, those coal days were worth it all, when you know, everybody's going like, you're doing great, you're winning, and all that stuff, and everybody wants your autograph and everything. So just keep that in mind, that you'll be like, man, wasn't those times really, really nice? But at the moment, it doesn't feel like that. But when you become a diamond, I know you guys will sparkle bright. And remember, we have to always, always, always remember that, you know what, we have to represent correctly our teachers and honor them. And so we have to also remember what Hannibal Smith said, that it's not that you see the move, it's that you see what your opponent's going to do before they even do it, and then predict that move and start the onslaught or the attack. And that's a plan, he said. So, and the grandmasters say one move, and it's always the right move. So tomorrow there should be today. So they're having the Paris Grand Tour. So you can, if you guys are interested in watching, it's the rapid part today, and I believe tomorrow is today is the rapid, and then the next day is blitz, and then they have another blitz day. So if you're interested in watching that, go for it. And so I'll leave you this. Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, and you know what? Keep doing chess. Keep doing it, guys. And Lord willing, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do some more studies, okay? So be blessed, and I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.